Climate change is becoming acceptable among a group of scientists. Economic problems cause a rise in unemployment. It is strictly required to submit the assignment by Friday. Students requiring an extension should reply sooner or later. The key difference between courses is the kind of assessment. The library holds a substantial collection of materials on economic history. The new technician dropped the microscope in the biology lab. Traveling by boat on the river is not possible in winter. Try to work with each other to build monolith status. We need to hand in the essay by next week. You are required to submit your assignment by Friday. Your thesis should have a fairly limited scope. A recent article shows a number of interesting experiments. All students need to attend no less than 10 labs per semester. An aerial photograph was promptly registered for federal evaluations. Animals raised in captivity behave differently than their wild counterparts. Animals raised in captivity behave differently with their wild counterparts. Before submitting your assignment, your advisor should approve it. Celebrated theory is still a subject of controversy. Celebrated theory is still a subject to a great controversy. Consumer confidence has a direct impact on sales. Early streams of economic in Roman Republic will be examined. I thought we would meet in the small meeting room. Identity theft happens to thousands of people every year. The coffee house has a special student discount throughout this week. The economic books are at the back on the left. The following economic policy lecture has been cancelled. The massive accumulation of data was converted into communicable words. The morning's lecture on economic policy has been cancelled. The new product failed due to a lack of demand. The qualification will be assessed with the criterion to approach. The reconciliation is important. The basic underlying issue must be first addressed. The theme of the instrumental work exhibits more of a demure, calm positional style. The toughest part of research for postgraduate students is funding. They have struggled since last year to make their services paid. This new paper challenges the previously accepted theories. Those students seeking formal extension should talk to their faculties for more information. Those who want to apply extension should contact the faculty. We can't consider any increasing price at this stage. When launching a product, research and marketing are very vital. You are required to complete the research paper by next Monday. You must submit your assignment by next Friday at the latest. A group meeting will be held tomorrow in the library conference room. A number of students have some volunteer jobs. A party is thrown in the small meeting room. A person's education level is closely related to their economic background. A very basic function of computing is counting and calculating. A very basic feature of computing is counting and calculating. Affordable housing is an important issue for all members of society. Agenda item should be submitted by the end of the day. All of your assignment should be due by tomorrow. All staff must leave from the fire hydrant exit. All writers are consciously or unconsciously representing their own culture. Americans have progressively found the growth in quantitative terms. An ancient text may hold secrets which were lost centuries ago. And in that regard, as well as in other regards, it stands as an important contribution. Article numbers are collected through interesting experiments. Artists or other than politicians played their own roles of cultural critics. Assignments should be submitted to the department before deadline. Attracting skilled workers to the city with expensive housing is hard. Avoiding confusing causes and effects of those changes. Before completing the exercise, you need to read the remaining chapters. Behind the garage is a secret storage room. Behind the group is the garage joined by some partners. Below the heating controls in the middle is a small round plastic button. Books for children often contain many bits of illustration. Caged camera to see the fish. Career opportunities in this field are quite limited. Climate change is a fierce phenomenon concentrated by scientists. Climate change is being acknowledged by many scientists. Clinical practices in nursing prepares students in practical practices. Companies want to protect their brand from negative comments. Competition for the places in course is fierce. Conferences ought to be scheduled 2 weeks in advance. Daily practice can build confidence and improve skills. Despite the protest, the chemistry department was closed down. Economic problems cause a rise on unemployment. Education level is related to the economic background. 8 groups need to submit the outlines of their projects to their tutors. Elections of president take place once every 4 years. Essay is easy once research is finished. Experts believe that industry development will help economy. Final year business students have to write a 5,000-word essay on market trends. Freshwater creatures did not appear in the paintings until the modern period. Government reforms have been proposed at all levels. He has landed a job in a prestigious law firm. He started his tutorial presentation right on time. He was not the only one to call for a legal reform in the 16th century. Heavy rain will fall through the country next week. Heavy rain will fully across the city next week. To gain full marks, an appropriate bibliography is required. Today's lecture material will be included in the next assessment. Undergraduate student may participate in specific stages within the program. University departments should carefully monitor articles and publications by faculty. Water taps on the campus will discourage the frequent use of plastic bottles. We support the research on problems of tropical cyclone dynamics, diagnosed and forecasting. We support to do research in the field of archaeology such as forecasting and estimation. When bad drove out good, the local workers were more difficult than their competitors. When meet high potential risks, companies will raise their price. Why has the project been held up for so long? Writing an essay is easy once the research is finished. You are trained to be a special journalist. You can contact all your tutors by email. You can find a lot more information on university website. You come with me and the others stay here. You should allocate your time wisely when revising. You should contact all tutors by email. You should include these 2 pictures from the lecture in your assignment. Your agent will collect commission for each house they sell. Your summary should be as clear and concise as possible. Your task is to create the demand for the product. Your thesis must have a fairly large scope. The technician left the new microscope in biology lab. The theory has a great control of controversy. The time of the math lecture has been changed to 10:30. The toughest part of public transport is funding. The undergraduates need some specific resources to analyze a specific problem. The university has a world-renowned school of archaeology. The university library has most of the necessary books. The university officer will help you locate housing and transportation. The whole point of the project was to look at the norm, not the exception. There is a need for constructive dialogue between leaders. There is not enough evidence to support these recommendations. There is not enough evidence to support this recommendation. There was no correlation between drug use and cure rates. There were not enough evidences to support the recommendations. There will be a conference here next summer on using the web for academic research. These have also been found to contribute to the death of many marine animals. They are both grown up in the rural area and dislike the urban life. Thief happens to 1,000 people every day. This class will look at the structure of the essay. This graph shows there is a minimum growth. This paper challenged the previously accepted theories. This schedule allows a lot of time for independent study. This slide shows there is a minimum growth. Those events are not yet fully understood. To achieve full marks, an appropriate bibliography is required. Please remember to bring a highlighter to class on next Wednesday. Politics is usually not a safe topic for conversation. Presidential elections are held every 4 years. Public perception about biotechnology is crucial for developing scientific consensus. Reference of material is held in the hall of library reference desk. Relevant resources are reserved in the library. Remember, students have strictly ability criteria. Remember, the gifts purchased by children should have a striped character. Resources and materials are on hold on the library reference desk. Resources of materials are on hold on the library reference desk. Review all materials before drawing your conclusion. Rising sales figures means a rise in demand. Sales figures last year are better than expected. Scientists now study a wide variety of atmospheric processes. She received a scholarship from the State University. Some people regarded it as care, while others regarded it as recklessness. Some people regarded this as eyewash, whereas some people ask for the status of their complaints and actions taken. Students have the options to live in college residences or apartments. Students' identification card will be issued by today or tomorrow. Students requiring for an extension should apply sooner rather than later. Students were instructed to submit their assignments by Friday. Submitting your group assignment must be issued punctually by one of your group members. Successful applicants will work with a large team of researchers. Sydney is Australia's largest city, chief port and cultural centre. Teaching assistants will receive a monthly stipend for housing. Teaching assistants will receive monthly fees for housing. Technologies on biotechnology is of crucial importance in the project developing. That brief outline takes us to the beginning of the 20th century. The advertisement for children is open to much debate. The aerial photographs were promptly registered for federal evaluations. The author's previous works are more theoretical and less experimental. The author's previous works are more philosophical and less experimental. The book was supported by many faculty members. The cafeteria features sandwiches, salads, soup, chicken, and fish. The campus tour will help you get familiar with the teaching facilities. The campus tour will help you to get familiar with the teaching facilities. The cart carries a single object. The cause and effect of problem. The coffee house features sandwiches, salads, soup, chicken, and fish. The coffee house features soups, salads, sandwiches, chicken, and fish. The coffee house menu featured coffee, sandwiches, and toast. The Commission of Funds supported among authorities has raised an argument. The Commissioner will collect fines for the sovereignty. The company needs to polish its image. The curriculum is described in the course syllabus. The decision is made with support of many faculty members. The decision was made with the support by several faculty members. The dining hall will be under renovation during the fall break. The early work is more philosophical rather than experimental. The early work of this research are more experimental. The Earth's atmosphere is mostly composed of nitrogen and oxygen. The effect of advertising is open to much debate. The essay is easy to write once the research is completed. The essay will be published once the research is finished. The excursion for children is very much open to debate. The extent of advertising for children is open to much debate. The faculty staff are approachable, friendly, and extremely helpful. The final year will consist of 4 taught courses and 1 project. The findings of researchers are focused on the causes of diseases and treatments. The first assignment will be due on the 14th of September. The following economic lectures will be cancelled. The garden behind the university will be open to public in summer. The glimpse of dipping into this religious as a hobby is an enormously rewarding experience. The guy is qualified to lead the groups into the mountain. The history of the movement was recorded by several writers. The importance of this event is not yet fully understood. The island is located at the north end of the bay. The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis. The leading companies have changed their policies after the reports were released. The library holds substantial materials of economic history. The main concepts in this thesis were not new. The main concepts of these events were not yet fully understood. The massive accumulation of data is converted to a communicable argument. The module of the work is more of a compositional style. The most important process of farming is weeding. The nearest automatic teller is in front of the anatomy labs. The problem of postgraduate students is funding. The qualification will be assessed by using a conference criterion to approach. The relative humidity is the amount of moisture that the air can hold. The relevant materials are reserved in the library. The report contains the most important information. The research on cyclone tropical forest are forecasting the weather conditions. The results of the experiment are reported in the table below. The same approach reached to the same explanation of the problem. The same issue reached the same explanation of the problem. The same issues featured both the explanations of the problem. The same problems reached both same explanations. The schedule allows a lot of time for independent study. The scientists now study a wide variety of atmosphere. The scientists now study a wide variety of atmospheric processes. The scientists use the web to explore the problems. The slides shows there has been a minimal growth. The software companies design and create new products. The solar energy department is highly regarded worldwide. The spot of lecture on economic policy has been cancelled. The students have options to live in residences or apartments. The aerial photograph was promptly registered for federal evaluations. Participants are initially selected from a range of foundation subjects. Celebrity theory is still the great source of controversy. Climate change is becoming an acceptable phenomenon among a group of reputable scientists. Free campus tour runs daily during summer for prospective students. Our professor is hosting a business development conference. The evaluation form will be reviewed by university personnel. Before submitting your dissertation, your advisor must approve your application. Everyone must evacuate the premises during the fire drill. It is absolutely vital that you acknowledge all the sources. Most of the features are part of the previous system. Mutually exclusive events are neither complementary nor opposing. When workers ask for higher wages, the companies raise prices. While reconciliation is desirable, the basic underlying issues must first be addressed. Behind the garage, there is a flat car drawn by mules. Control systems in manufacturing a high level of accuracy. Our professor is hosting the Economic Development Conference next week. Peer group pressure has a significant effect on young people. Synopsis contains the most important information. The meeting has some struggle overlaps. The schedule allows plenty of time for independent study. They were struggling last year to make their service paid. We cannot consider increasing the price at this stage. When workers ask for an increase in wages, the company raises its prices. While concealing ideas is desirable, basic underlying issues must first be addressed. Animals raised in captivity behave differently from their wild counterparts. Before submitting your assignment, your advisor must approve your application. If you are not sure, call Student Services for help. In addition to the course's requirements, students must pass the qualification examinations. Interim results will be posted on the board outside the student lounge. It is really a comprehensive program that covers both theory and practice. Let me know if anybody struggles in the lab. Listening is the key skill to succeed to this course. Many graduated students can find job in communications field. Many students find true or false questions are harder than short answer questions. Mutually exclusive devices can be described as complementary or the opposite. Please make sure you have collected all the necessary materials. Please work with each other to build monolithic statues. Read the 4 sections before the next meeting. Remember, The prestigious selection has strict eligibility criteria. Scientific beneficiary to space exploration is frequently questioned. Scientists are now studying a wide variety of atmospheric processes. Scientists here are studying a wide variety of atmosphere processes. Some of the features are part of previous research. Statistic results should be described in different ways depending on circumstances. Student concession cards need to be obtained by completing an application form. Teaching assistants will receive a monthly remuneration for housing. Textile manufacturer plays a large role in improving economies. That we won't have any struggle in the lab. The application process is longer than expected. Higher numbers of patients were infected than during previous outbreaks of the illness. Human beings compete with other things for resources and space. If it helps to take notes in order to concentrate, please do so. If it helps you concentrate, take note, do it. If taking notes helps your concentration, please do it. If you are not sure, go to Student Services for help. If you seek for further extension, contact your faculty for more information. Inflation affects the demand, pricing and consumption of most products. Interim grades will be posted on the board outside the student lounge. Interim scores will be posted on the board outside the student lounge. It helps to take notes to concentration on what please do. It is absolutely vital that you refer to all your sources. It is absolutely vital to allocate your resources. It is hard to anticipate all the characters that were in React. It is hard to anticipate all their actions. It is hard to observe the reaction of the character. It is important to allocate your time wisely when revising. Law is beneficial to investors by protecting their rights and avoiding any improper actions in the market. Laws protect consumer rights and help to avoid market problems. Leading company changed their policies after their reports were released. Many birds migrated to the warmer areas for winter. Many toxins are originated from plants or animals. Materials and resources are on hold at the library's front desk. Medical researchers have focused on the different treatments and disease. Most critics agreed with the new theory, but a few disagreed. Most of the theories were similar, but a few critics disagreed. Most teaching staff make their lecture notes available online. Most theories are quite similar, but a few critics disagree. Neurons are principally involved in chemical processes. Newspapers are supported primarily by the sale of advertising space. No more than 4 people are allowed in the lab. Nurses specialize in clinical work and management. Observers waited nervously and held the breath for the concert. Organization plays an important role in academic literature. Organizational failure is considered in various perspectives in academic literature. Our class is divided into 2 groups. Our class will be divided into 3 groups. Our group is going to meet tomorrow in the library conference room. Overcrowding and poor sanitation affected the lives of the majority of the population. Packaging is very important to attract attention of a buyer. Packaging is very important to attract intentioned buyers. Peer group pressure has a great effect on young people. Please make sure you correctly cite all the necessary materials. Please note that the college laboratory will be closed for cleaning next week. Thank you for watching. For more info visit www.epbrisbane.com.au.